Right now, somewhere in the world, someone just watched a video exactly like this one and felt relieved when it was over. Not because they realized they were safe, because they realized they weren't listening for themselves. They were listening for someone else. You're not doing that. You're checking. And that one difference is going to matter a lot more than you think by the time this ends. 7 signs. That's all it takes. Stay until the end, because the last one isn't about them. It's about why you're still watching. This is where the tension gets planted. The viewer starts recognizing themselves, and the discomfort begins. Sign 1. The mask. You already wear. Think of the last time you smiled at someone you couldn't stand. You knew exactly what to say, exactly how long to hold eye contact, exactly when to laugh, even though nothing was funny. For those few seconds, you weren't feeling anything close to what your face was showing. You called it being polite, professional, keeping the peace. But that gap between what you performed and what you actually felt is the same gap psychologists study in psychopathy. The difference is only ever degree. The face you show your boss, the face you show your family, the version of you in a job interview, calm and warm, while underneath you're calculating every word before it leaves your mouth. How much of what people saw from you today was real? If you had to pause before answering, that's sign 1. Sign 2. The moment you didn't feel it. Sign 2 is harder to admit. Think of a time someone close to you broke down in front of you. Real pain, real tears. And somewhere underneath your comforting words, you felt nothing. You said the right things. But the feeling itself never showed up. Empathy isn't one system, it's 2. One lets you understand what someone feels. The other makes you actually feel it with them. Most people assume these always arrive together. They don't. You can know with total clarity that someone is suffering and feel as little as you would watching a stranger's weather report. And when that happened to you, you probably blamed the moment. Stress, exhaustion, anything but the real explanation. The real explanation is colder. Sometimes the wire just doesn't connect, and you don't get to choose when. Sign 3. The fear that never shows up. Sign 3. You've done something reckless before and felt strangely calm doing it, lying to someone's face without your heart rate changing, walking into a confrontation everyone else would avoid, making a decision that should have terrified you. And instead, it just felt efficient. That's not bravery. Bravery is doing something despite fear. This is doing something because the fear never arrived to stop you. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, doesn't run at the same volume in everyone. In some moments, in some people, it barely runs at all. You felt that quiet before something you knew you shouldn't do. And if you noticed it and quietly didn't mind it, that's sign 3. By now, you've recognized at least one of these in yourself. That's not an accident. Keep that feeling. It's about to get more specific. This is where the video deepens, moving from things that feel like flaws to things that feel like strengths, which makes the discomfort sharper. Sign 4. What's under your mask? Sign 4. And this is the one people get wrong most. Everyone assumes it looks unstable, twitchy, easy to spot. It isn't. The most dangerous version of this isn't chaotic, it's composed, controlled, trusted. If you're calm under pressure, if people call you hard to read, if you've been told you're intense in a way no one can quite explain. You've heard this before, haven't you? You probably took it as a compliment. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the other thing. Sign 5. The reading. Sign 5, and this one is uncomfortable because it feels like a skill, not a flaw. You've walked into a conversation and known, almost instantly, what someone needed to hear. Not what was true, what worked. You felt someone's insecurity the way a locksmith feels the shape of a lock, not to help them, just to know exactly which words would open them up. Most people call this being good with people, perceptive, a people reader. But read closely. Is your read on people usually in service of connecting with them or in service of getting something from them? Comfort, agreement, an advantage, the last word in an argument you were never going to lose. You already know how you'd answer that if no one else could hear it. Sign 6. The hunger for more. Sign 6 is quieter, and it doesn't look like a warning sign at all. It looks like restlessness. Think about how quickly comfortable things start to bore you. The relationship that felt exciting for months, and then, without anything actually going wrong, started to feel flat. The job you wanted so badly that stopped being enough within a year. The risk you took, not because you needed to, but because things had gotten too quiet. Psychologists call this a chronically understimulated reward system, a brain that needs more intensity than most people do just to feel normal. It's why boredom, for some people, isn't a mild inconvenience. It's closer to physical discomfort, something to be solved immediately, whatever the cost. You felt that itch before a decision you couldn't fully explain afterward, the urge to stir something up just to feel the temperature in the room change. If calm has ever felt like a problem to you rather than a relief, that's sign 6. The final sign lands, then the tension the video has been building starts to resolve into a direct question the viewer can't avoid. Sign 7. The guilt that arrives. Late. Sign 7, and this is the one people lie to themselves about the most. Think of a time you did something you knew would hurt someone, and you didn't feel bad about it until after you got caught, not before, not during, after. The regret that shows up isn't for what you did, it's for what it's about to cost you. That's a very specific kind of guilt. Real remorse shows up before consequences arrive because it's about the other person. This other kind only shows up once exposure does, because it's about you. Most people never separate these two feelings. They assume guilt is guilt. But if you're honest, genuinely honest, the kind you only are with yourself at 2 in the morning, how much of your remorse over the years has been about the damage, and how much has been about being seen doing it? You don't have to answer that out loud. You already answered it in the half second before you decided how to feel about that question. The 7 signs, together. 7 signs. If you recognized even 2 or 3 of them in yourself over the last several minutes, you've been sitting with a question this whole time that you haven't said out loud. So let's finally say it. Am I one? The twist. This is where all 7 signs get reframed at once. The payoff for staying to the end. Here's what almost nobody tells you. Psychologists who study real, clinically diagnosed psychopaths have noticed something strange. When they show them this exact list, the mask, the missing empathy, the absent fear, the reading, the hunger, the late guilt, the psychopaths don't flinch. They don't check themselves against it. They don't feel the need to, because self-doubt requires a piece of the machinery they don't have. To wonder, could this be me? You need the capacity to fear being something terrible. You need a conscience quiet enough to notice its own gaps. That noticing, that uncomfortable itching feeling you've had for the last 10 minutes, wondering if you were the subject of this video. That's not the sign you were looking for. That's the alibi. The real ones never ask the question. You just did. Multiple times. Out loud, in your head, maybe even a little afraid of the answer. That fear is the thing they don't have. You didn't come here to find a monster. You came here to check if you were one. And the fact that you needed to check is the only proof in this entire video that actually means something. You're not what you came here to find, but somewhere out there, someone is watching this exact same video right now, feeling nothing at all.